Welcome. A woman was dragged from her home in front of her 10 children. Her name was Jean McConville. She was 38 years old, a widow, already barely surviving, and then one night in December 1972, masked strangers knocked on her door, pushed past her kids, and took her. Her children never saw her again. For 30 years, nobody would say what happened. Not officially, not publicly. Because in Belfast during the Troubles, the rule was simple. Whatever you say nothing. This book is about what happens when that silence finally breaks, and what comes crawling out when it does. To understand Jean McConville's murder, you have to understand the world that made it possible. Northern Ireland in the late 1960s was a society built on inequality. Catholics, the nationalist community, were systematically excluded from jobs, from housing, from political power. They organized. They marched. They demanded the same rights that other citizens of Britain took for granted. The state answered with batons and tear gas. 2 young women were there on one of those marches, Dolores Price and her sister Marion, daughters of a veteran IRA man raised on stories of British oppression and Irish sacrifice. They started as peaceful protesters. They wouldn't stay that way. When the British Army arrived on the streets of Belfast in 1969, sent ostensibly to protect Catholics, something shifted. The Provisional IRA, the Provosts, split from the Old Guard. Their position was unambiguous. Politics had failed. Only violence would drive the British out, and a generation of young Catholics, furious and frightened and electric with purpose, believed them. Dolores Price believed them most of all. Here's what Keefe does that most writers don't. He makes you understand exactly how ordinary people become capable of extraordinary violence. Dolores Price wasn't a monster. She was a 20-year-old woman who watched her community get beaten in the streets and decided she would fight back. The IRA didn't recruit her, she recruited herself. And once she was in, she was all in. Alongside her ran Brendan Hughes, the man they called the Dark. Compact, fierce, completely fearless. The IRA's best street soldier in Belfast. He and Gerry Adams were, by all accounts, as close as brothers. Adams the political mind, Hughes the weapon. Between them they ran a guerrilla war inside a city. Ambushes, bombings, disappearances. She was accused falsely, the evidence strongly suggests, of being an informant for the British Army. A widow with 10 children in a tiny flat. Someone told someone who told the IRA, and the IRA had a solution for informants. They called them the disappeared. People taken in secret, killed in secret, buried in secret on beaches, in bogs, across the border. No body, no grave, no acknowledgement. Just gone. Jean McConville was driven across the border, shot once in the back of the head, and buried in the sand. Her 10 children were left alone in their flat. They waited. Days, then weeks. Then the authorities separated them and put them in institutions. Some of those children would spend the rest of their lives looking for her. While John McConville's children were being dispersed to orphanages, Dolores Price was planning something much bigger. In March 1973, she led a team that planted 4 car bombs in London, one outside the Old Bailey, one at Scotland Yard. The bombs injured over 200 people. The Price sisters were arrested at the airport, trying to leave the country. They were sentenced to life imprisonment in England. Being imprisoned in England, away from their community, away from Ireland, was, to them, a political humiliation. So they went on hunger strike. For one demand: transfer to a prison in Northern Ireland. The British government's response was to force-feed them. For 165 days, prison authorities held the sisters down, forced their mouths open with metal collipers, and poured liquid food through a tube into their throats. The International Medical Council later ruled this torture. Dolores Price would suffer from anorexia for the rest of her life, her body permanently broken by what was done to it in that prison. She got her transfer, eventually, but something had cracked inside her. The cause had cost her everything: her health, her freedom, her sense of the future. And the question that would haunt the rest of her life was already forming: was it worth it? Decades later, a peculiar project began at Boston College. Researchers approached former IRA members and loyalist paramilitaries with an offer. Tell us everything, on tape, in your own words. The interviews would be sealed, locked away until after each participant died. History preserved. Truth protected. That was the promise. Brendan Hughes agreed. Dolores Price agreed, and they talked. Hughes, now old and sick and full of regret, described ordering and carrying out operations that had never been publicly acknowledged. Dolores Price described driving people she knew, across the border to their deaths. She named names, one name above all others, Gerry Adams. By this point, Adams was one of the architects of the Northern Ireland peace process, a statesman, an international figure. He had spent years denying he was ever in the IRA. Hughes had a different memory. In his Belfast tapes interview, he called Adams the man who gave the order to execute Jean McConville. He called him, with raw contempt, a Machiavellian monster for later publicly offering to help her family. The family of the woman Hughes believed Adams had ordered killed. Adams has always denied everything. He denies it to this day. Then the police found out about the tapes and subpoenaed them. And the promise of confidentiality, the foundation the whole project was built on, collapsed. In 2003, a set of human bones was found on a beach in County Louth. Jean McConville's family knew it was her before they were officially told, because among the remains, still attached to what was left of her dress, was a small blue safety pin. She'd always kept one handy, with 10 kids. You never knew when you'd need it. She had been in that sand for 30 years. This is what the silence cost. Not just one woman's life, though that alone would be enough, but 30 years of her children not knowing. 30 years of grief with nowhere to go. 30 years of a community deciding collectively that some truths were too dangerous to speak. Keefe's great achievement in this book is that he never lets you settle. You understand why young Catholics joined the IRA in 1969, and you watch what that choice hollowed out of them. You see the conviction, the courage, the ideology, and you see the widow's 10 children left alone in a flat, waiting for a mother who was already dead. Say Nothing is not a book about who was right. It's a book about what we tell ourselves when we do terrible things for causes we believe in. And what we do, decades later, when we have to live inside the memory of it. Patrick Radden Keefe spent 4 years on this book. He interviewed over 100 people. Many refused to talk. Many started talking and stopped. Because in Belfast, even now, 50 years on, history is alive and dangerous. Say Nothing won the National Book Critics Circle Award. The New York Times named it one of the 20 best books of the 21st century. And in 2024, it became a critically acclaimed series on FX and Disney+, because this story, it turns out, refuses to stay quiet. Read it. It will stay with you long after you put it down. Please like and subscribe for more short summaries.